Good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to DMS 3000 News Live for Friday, July 14th, 2023. This is episode number 23, and I am your host, Brandon Martin. And on today's show, we'll be talking about the 63rd anniversary of Goodall Goes to Africa, and I'll be at the 5:30 hour. Then at the 6 o'clock hour, we will be celebrating a 63rd birthday to Jane Lynch. That'll be at the 6 o'clock hour. And at the 6:30 hour, we will wrap up with the 90th anniversary of Popeye. And man, he loves eating that Spanish very much. Plus, headlines, sports, and what day is today. And that will be covered here within the 2 hours. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this thing started right here, right now, with the headlines for July 14th, 2023. The Supreme Court may have struck down a sweeping plan for student loan debt forgiveness, and under President Biden's new income-driven repayment plan, save, borrowers stand to pay thousands less. Democrats are aiming to make gains in North Carolina in 2024, and that path to victory in the state runs through its small towns and youngest voters. Here's what some of them stand. Successful landing by the spacecraft would make India the fourth country after the U.S., the Soviet Union, and China to achieve the feat. At the Family Leaders Summit in Des Moines, GOP presidential hopefuls will try to convince Iowa's influential evangelical voting bloc they have the conservative credentials to win the caucuses. The FDA cracked down on nicotine devices, yet they're stocked on many store shelves. The reason has to do with burgeoning overseas production, lack of clear rules, and lax enforcement. At a time when empty pews are forcing churches across the country to close, megachurches are largely bucking that trend, attracting younger, more vibrant, and more diverse congregations. While Russia and Belarus will not receive formal invitations, the National Olympic Committee says it will not stop athletes from the two countries from participating as neutral contestants. That will be regarding to the 2024 Olympics in Paris. A pact on police cooperation is just one of the several deals signed by Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare this week during a trip to Beijing meant to upgrade the relationship between the two countries. How well do you know Barbie from J. Robert Oppenheimer? What may be the dumbest political move in history? And why is that animal doing that? Major General Ivan Popov said Russia's military leadership was angered by his frank talk about challenges faced by his forces, particularly the shortage of equipment that resulted in Russian casualties. Moderate consumption as parts time is okay, scientists say, but heavy consumers may want to reduce their intake. The WHO says aspartame may possibly cause cancer. The FDA questions the evidence. That's basically for possible carcinogen. Lawyers for the special counsel team pushed back on a bid by former President Donald Trump for an indefinite delay in the case, calling some of his arguments baseless. June 2023 was the hottest June on record, going back to 1850, and forecasters expect more records to fall as El Nino exacerbates human-caused climate change. The federal government's budget gap widened significantly in the first 9 months of the fiscal year as tax receipts slumped and spending increased. The new jackpot for the next drawing is the third largest in the history of the game, coming behind the world record $2.04 billion jackpot won last year and the $1.586 billion jackpot won in 2016. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna released video of the July 2022 incident this week, saying he only just learned of it. He said the deputy has been disciplined and the FBI is looking into it. The snake, stretching 19 feet, was caught in the Big Cypress National Preserve. The invasive species runs rampant through southern Florida, wreaking havoc on the state's native animal populations. That's a Burmese python, as tall as a giraffe, that was caught in Florida, as mentioned. ChatGPT sees its first hint of regulation as the federal agency requests documentation about its business practices. More than 111 million people across the U.S. remain under weather advisories or warnings as forecasters say an oppressive heat wave might get worse before it gets any better. The investigation into the Atlanta-based jail comes almost a year after the death of LaShawn Thompson, who died in a bedbug-infested cell in Fulton County Jail's psychiatric wing. When the government ended its fuel subsidy in May, the cost of gas, food, and public transport all jumped. On buses, customers doubled in seats. Lapping, they called it to split a fare. And then the new league makes its debut near Dallas on Thursday when the Texas Super Kings play the LA Knight Riders. The league's backers hope to cultivate a new generation of U.S. cricketers. That will be the headlines for Friday, actually, July 14th, 2023. And now let's go over to MLB sports and everything else. Since we came back for the All-Star break from last Tuesday, now they get to start the second half of the MLB season, where this first game, we have the San Diego Padres taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. That'll be start at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. Excuse me. And at 7:05 p.m., we have the San Francisco Giants going up against the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the same time, we have the Miami Marlins going up against the Baltimore Orioles. Then at 7:07 p.m., we have the Arizona Diamondbacks going up against the Toronto Blue Jays. And at 7:10, we'll have the Los Angeles Dodgers going up against the New York Mets. Then, same time, we have the Milwaukee Brewers going up against the Cincinnati Reds. We have, at 7:20, we got the Chicago White Sox going up against the Atlanta Braves. Then at 8:05 p.m., we have the Boston Red Sox going up against those Chicago Cubs. Then the same time, we have the Cleveland Guardians going up against the Texas Rangers. Then at 8:10, we have the Tampa Bay Rays going up against the Kansas City Royals. Then at 8:15, we have the Washington Nationals going up against the St. Louis Cardinals. Then at 8:40, we have the New York Yankees going up against the Colorado Rockies. Then at 9:38 p.m., we have the Houston Astros going up against those Los Angeles Angels. Then at 9:40, we'll have the Minnesota Twins going up against the Oakland Athletics. And finally, at 10:10 p.m., we have the Detroit Tigers going up against the Seattle Mariners. And that's going to be all the MLB games that's happening here for today. And also the start of the second half of the season for the MLB. And we'll go over the results for the NBA Summer League. For those, I'm not into much of that, but we're just going to go over this just for kicks and giggles. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Chicago Bulls 87-83. We have the Atlanta Hawks beating the Philadelphia 76ers 99-98. Very close game. We have the Brooklyn Nets beating the Toronto Raptors in a very close one, 99-94 in overtime. We have the Miami Heat defeating the Milwaukee Bucks 91-72. We have the Houston Rockets beating the Golden State Warriors 118-101. We have the New Orleans Pelicans beating the Charlotte Hornets 89-83. The Portland Trailblazers beating the Orlando Magic 88-71. And finally, we have the Sacramento Kings beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 93-80. And that will do it for the NBA Summer League results from yesterday. And with that being said, it is 5:13 right now. We'll go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when we come back, we'll do what day is today, and then we'll go over the 63rd anniversary of Jane Goodall Goes to Africa. And we will do that right after this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
At the river mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon. Which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamonds. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of a contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me? I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Please, giggle now.
Mr. Green? Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Mm-mm.
I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
Yeah, sure.
Want my Coke? It's okay, you can have it.
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good. Makes me feel nice.
Be around.
That's the way it should be. I like to see
Hey, kid.
the whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola as life. Have a Coke and
Thanks, Mean Joe.
smile.
Ow! So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know. I never met the guy. He does exist!
They do exist. Santa?
Santa. Either way, welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode number 23. I am your host, Brandon Martin. And now we'll go ahead and go over what day is today. And we have 21 holidays as listed for July 14th, 2023. And we'll go ahead and go over the holidays right here, right now. First one we'll start off is National Break Free from the Big 3 Day. It's time to break free from bad habits, relationships, and stale mobile plans. And this next one I'm going to love. We're all going to love this. National French Fry Day. Did you know that the origin of French fries is likely not French at all? That may be true, yeah. Another good one. National Mac and Cheese Day. The king of comfort foods and a favorite of all ages are all over the country. Excuse me. Pandemonium Day. Ready to dive into all things unpredictable on Pandemonium Day? Bastille Day. Sacre Bleu. We celebrate the toppling of the long-standing French monarchy. Bastille Day, Saint Martin. Celebrate the power of revolution with the French as we mark Bastille Day with pride. Collector Car Appreciation Day. Do you love vintage cars? Ugh, I can't even talk, but that's okay. If yes, then celebrating this day should be a must for you. Emmeline Pankhurst Day. Let's learn what the conditions for women would be without Emmeline Pankhurst. Fête de la Fédération. Join us as we look back at the Fête de la Fédération this July 14th. International Non-Binary Peoples Day. Today we are shining a light on all non-binary individuals and talking about their diversity. Kebab Day. Even though it looks like it sounds kebab, but it's really not. Tantalize your taste buds. One delicious kebab at the time. This kebab day. Matariki. Very interesting. Again, excuse me. We're taking a starry ride to New Zealand to celebrate a holiday like no other. National Be Nice to Bugs Day. Let's take a pledge not to kill insects. Heard of the motto, live and let live? National Grand Marnier Day. Like your cocktails fancy and adventurous? We bring you the latest in world-class booze. National Joey Day. Interesting. Time to find the Joey in your life and celebrate them today. We know we got a certain Joey, a good friend from the network community. Joey Acacia. We all know that. National Marco Day. We've got the facts and history behind the name Marco, so come celebrate with us. National Motorcycle Day. Get ready for the fun-filled day exploring the road with us on National Motorcycle Day. And oh, word. Oh, what the heck. Oh, Lord. This next one. National Nude Day. Oh, my word. Nudist groups around the world celebrate National Nude Day by going on natural. Oh, good Lord. Moving on. National Reese Day. We've got the facts about the name Reese, so let's get right into it. National Tape Measure Day. Everyone has one because they're universally useful. And finally, Shark Awareness Day. There's a bigger chance of being struck by lightning than being killed or attacked by a shark. Oh, yes. And that's basically it for what day is today for July 14th, 2023. It is 5:24 right now, 6 minutes before 5:30. We'll now go ahead and go over the 63rd anniversary of Goodall Goes to Africa. And we'll go ahead and get that up right now. So basically, before we get into that, let's talk about a little bit about Jane Goodall. Goodall, from London, England, was born there, April 3rd, 1934. Celebrated birthday this year. Currently 89 years old. And she is an English primatologist and anthropologist. She's an expert on chimpanzees, 60 years of studying and the social and family interactions of wild chimpanzees. Goodall went first to Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania to observe its chimpanzees in 1960. Well, speaking of that, this is the 63rd anniversary of going to Africa, and we'll go ahead and get this read up right now. Goodall had always been drawn to animals in Africa, which brought her to the farm of a friend in the Kenya highlands in 1957. From there, she obtained work as a secretary, and acting on her friend's advice, she telephoned Louis Leakey. Excuse me. Oh, man. Sorry about that, guys. I had to sneeze on that one before I had to continue, so apologies in advance. Continuing on, the Kenyan archaeologist and paleontologist with no other thought than to make an appointment to discuss animals. Leakey, believing that the study of the existing great apes could provide indications of the behavior of early hominids, was looking for a chimpanzee researcher, though he kept the idea to himself. Instead, he proposed that Goodall work for him as a secretary. After obtaining approval from his co-researcher and wife, British paleoanthropologist Mary Leakey, Lewis sent Goodall to Olduvai Gorge and Tanganyika, Tanzania. I can't even pronounce that, but that's okay. Where he laid out his plans. In 1958, Leakey sent Goodall to London to study primate behavior with Osman Hill and primate anatomy with John Napier. Leakey raised funds, and on July 14th, 1960, Goodall went to Gombe Stream National Park, being the first of what would come to be called the Trimates. She was accompanied by her mother, whose presence was necessary to satisfy the requirements of David Anstey, chief warden, who was concerned for their safety. Goodall credits her mother with encouraging her to pursue a career in primatology, a male-dominated field at the time. Excuse me. Goodall had stated that women were not accepted in the field when she started her research in the late 1950s. As of 2019, the field of primatology is made up almost evenly of men and women. In part, thanks to the trailblazing of Goodall and her encouragement of young women to join the field, Leakey arranged funding, and in 1962 he sent Goodall, who had no degree, to the University of Cambridge. She was the 8th person to be allowed to study for a PhD at Cambridge without first having obtained a bachelor's degree. She went to Newnham College, Cambridge, where she received her Bachelor of Arts in Natural Sciences by 1964, which is when she went up to the new Darwin College, Cambridge, for a Doctor of Philosophy in Anthropology. Her thesis was completed in 1966 under the supervision of Robert Hendy of the behavior of free-living chimpanzees. detailing her first 5 years of study at the Gombe Reserve. And on June 19, 2006, the Open University of Tanzania awarded her an honorary Doctor of Science degree. Goodall studied chimpanzees, social and family life, beginning with the Kasakela chimpanzee community in Gombe Stream National Park, Tanzania in 1960. She found that it is only human beings who have personality, who are capable of rational thought, and emotions like joy and sorrow. She also observed behaviors such as hugs, kisses, pats on the back, and even tickling, what we consider human actions. Goodall insists that these gestures are evidence of the close, supportive, affectionate bonds that develop between family members and other individuals within a community, which can persist throughout a lifespan of more than 50 years. And that's basically it for regarding to heading to Africa for the 63rd anniversary. But since we have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and go over the weather report for July the 14th and see what we have in store going into the weekend. For here, we all know it's going to be a hot one. So it's going to be very hot outside this weekend. So speaking of which, we'll go ahead and look at across the country right here, right now. That is for July 14th. So we look at the East Coast. We look at the upper 70s, low to upper 80s, low close to mid 90s. We look at Caribou at 79 with some showers. Boston 80 with showers. Buffalo, New York at 81. New York at 84, also chance of showers. Washington, D.C. at 86, also chance of showers. Norfolk at 86 as well, also chance of showers. Charlotte at 91, chance of showers. Atlanta at 92. Jacksonville 93, also chance of showers. 93 as well for Tampa, same scenario, chance of showers. And 89 in Miami, also with a chance of thunder showers. We look at the Midwest. We look at the mid 70s going into mid to upper 80s, low to mid 90s. We got Sault Ste. Marie at 74 with a chance of showers. International Falls at 80. We also have 90 at Minneapolis. Detroit 84, chance of showers. Same thing with Chicago, this time at 88. 96 in St. Louis, chance of showers. Sunny day for Cincinnati at 91. Memphis at 89 with a chance of some showers. 94 in New Orleans with a chance of thunder showers. We look at the Central Plains. We look at the low to upper 80s. We look at the low to upper 90s. Low to mid upper 100s. Look at Minot at 81. Rapid City 81 as well. Kansas City 92 actually. Will be a chance of some showers. Oklahoma City 94. Dallas 103. Houston 99. Brownsville 98. Winds picking up. San Antonio at 105. Same thing with El Paso. Lubbock at 104. Albuquerque at 103. Denver at 86. We look at the West Coast. We got mid, low to mid, up. We got upper 60s. We have mid. We got upper 70s. Mid to upper 80s. Low to upper 90s. And then low to mid 110s. Woo! So Cut Bank at 79. Billings at 83. Same thing with Seattle. 92 in Boise. Medford 101. 97 in Reno. Salt Lake City 93. Denver 86. Albuquerque 103. San Francisco at 66. 113 in Las Vegas. Los Angeles at 89. Phoenix, not surprising, 115. Woo, man. Oh, goodness. And basically the guys at the triple digits, like Medford, along with Las Vegas, Phoenix, Albuquerque, El Paso, Lubbock, San Antonio, and Dallas. Good suggestion is stay indoors, like I mentioned this many times on here before. Stay inside, and if you do want to go out, use sunscreen. Most importantly, you don't want to get sunburned because you'll be burnt to crisp. And basically after that, just when you do come back, like if something important needs to be come up, like going to the store, do that, and then stay inside for the rest of the day. Unless you're going to work, so that's a whole entire different story. But so basically, stay indoors. If it's that hot weather going up, because it's still going to be hot though going into the weekend, and for another town, 40-minute drive from my hometown of Hermiston to Pendleton, which is another town. If you're going to Whiskey Music Fest, again, get some hydration. Sunscreen is important. If you want to cool off, they have some cooling off stations over there, which is really interesting, which is really good to cool off. You get to see Flo Rida along with Kane Brown, and no, not the other one, so not going to get into details, but yeah, Maddie and Tay along with many other acts. Stay hydrated. Most importantly is stay hydrated. You don't want to have dehydration for that crap. It's not good. But yeah, that is going to do it for the weather. All right, now it is 5:39, getting close to 5:40. And we'll go ahead and take another commercial break. When we come back, we will be celebrating the 63rd birthday of Jane Lynch. And we'll do that right after this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Where do you think really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from? A chocolate cow? In a chocolate field? On a chocolate farm? Near a chocolate stream? Wrong. really chocolatey chocolate milk comes from where you'd expect it to come from. Hershey, the chocolate people.
Chocolate milk people, too.
Ice cream, Carvel, ice cream, we make fresh ice cream every day at Carvel's. America's freshest ice cream every way at Carvel's. Fresh Carvel's ice cream.
If you use an automatic toilet bowl cleaner that doesn't clean well enough or last long enough, it's like flushing your good money down the drain. Try my 2000 flushes. It has chlorine bleach, the same chemical used to keep swimming pools clean. It works the same way in your toilet bowl. And it works up to 4 months. It really does. With 2000 flushes, it's not your money that goes down the drain, it's the stains. So why buy anything else?
Something good is coming up. Gonna get the biscuit down. Good morning, biscuit pancakes. Coming up golden brown. Biscuit morning, watch it rise. Something good is coming up when you get the biscuit down.
And Bisquick is made with 100% vegetable shortening and has no preservatives.
Get the biscuit down. Is watching Mark and Louis, watching the price, giving great advice, watching the store to save you so much more. New Mark and Louis, we always beat the competition. If Louis is watching,
you gotta be kidding. What's in is out, what's out is in. So many trends make my forehead spin. Don't tell me good taste, I know I taste good. While the best thing though is so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper, we want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste is made to order, we love it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered.
One reason why Duracell batteries last so long is because we never stop improving them. In fact, today's Duracell batteries will last up to 20% longer than the ones we made just 3 years ago. And we'll keep on improving them. Because on that score, we have a one-track mind. Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
What's in, Hut? Funky chicken! Duck walk! Moonwalk! Disco! Windmill! Air guitar! James Brown! Jimmy plays Monterey!
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
The starting lineups are on the floor, and here comes Michael Jordan. Taking time out for breakfast at his regular place, McDonald's. Jordan finds the open man. He goes for two and takes possession of a delicious big breakfast and a hot Egg McMuffin. Jordan sets. He puts it up, and it's good. Jordan scrambles. He sinks it in again. Can he fit that Egg McMuffin in his game plan? Yes! Michael Jordan has carried it off.
There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Tough getting out of bed to face all the chores ahead, till that aroma comes through when the Folgers starts to brew the best heart are waking up. It's Folgers in your cup.
Folgers is mountain grown coffee, and the rich aroma of mountain grown beans makes Folgers one coffee made with the morning in mind.
Now things are feeling right. You see the morning in a whole new light. There's hard work to be done, another day yet to be won. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Yes, the Folgers is in your cup. Gotta have that first thing in the morning when you wake up. And we are back for DMS 3000 News Live, episode number 23, for Friday, July 14th, 2023. Once again, I am your host, Brandon Martin. And now let's go ahead and talk about a happy 63rd birthday to Jane Lynch. Jane Marie Lynch is an American actress, comedian, and singer. She is known for her starring as Sue Sylvester in the musical comedy series Glee, which earned her a Primetime Emmy Award. Lynch also gained recognition for her roles in Christopher Guest's mockumentary films such as Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration. Lynch had a recurring role in the sitcom 2.5 Men, for which she received a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award, as well as recurring roles in the drama series The L Word, the police drama series Criminal Minds, the drama series The Good Fight, and the period comedy series The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. There we go. Gotta make sure it's correct. For which she received a Primetime Emmy Award from 2013 to 2020. Lynch hosted the game show Hollywood Game Night, which earned her 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. Lynch also has had roles in numerous mainstream comedy films such as The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Role Models, Paul, and The Three Stooges, the new version, not the old version. The old version is really much better than the new, but who's the one to judge, really? She has lent her voice to numerous animated films, including Space Chimps, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Shrek Forever After, Rio, the Wreck-It Ralph film franchise, Escape from Planet Earth, and Ugly Dolls. Excuse me. She is also known for her stage work, including her role in Nora Ephron's off-Broadway play Love, Loss, and What I Wore in 2009. She made her Broadway debut as Mrs. Hannigan in the revival of Annie in 2013. She returned to Broadway as Mrs. Bryce in another revival, Funny Girl, in 2022. In 2013, Lynch received the 2,505 star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in the television category, located at 6640 Hollywood Boulevard. Among her numerous accolades, Lynch has received 5 Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and a Golden Globe Award. Jane Marie Lynch was born on July 14, 1960, in Evergreen Park, Illinois, and raised in Dolton, Illinois, the daughter of a banker father, Frank Joseph Lynch, and a homemaker secretary mother, Eileen Lynch. Her father was of Irish descent, his parents having come from Sonnanog, near Charlestown, and Culdiff, Killasser, near Swinford, both in County Mayo, respectively, and her mother was of Irish and Swedish ancestry. She was raised in a Catholic family and attended Thornridge High School. She graduated from Illinois State University in 1982 with a theater degree and earned a Master of Fine Arts degree in Cornell University in 1984. Lynch spent 15 years in Chicago acting in the Steppenwolf Theater Company, and at the time of her audition, was one of the only two women picked to join the Second City comedy troupe. She then continued to hone her comical and improvisational skills at the Annoyance Theater, playing Cole Brady in the theater's The Real Life Brady Bunch. Annie Richter played Mike Brady in the New York shows. He and Lynch became very good friends. Lynch got her start in films in 1988, playing a small role in the film Vice Versa. In 1993, she had a secondary role as a doctor alongside Harrison Ford, which we did talk about that yesterday's program, in The Fugitive. She also appeared that same year as a reporter as Fatal Instinct. During the 1990s, she made numerous television commercials, including one for Frosted Flakes for the adult audience, directed by Christopher Guest. A few years later, Guest would remember Lynch as he chose actors for his 2000 dog show mockumentary Best in Show. Lynch played Christy Cummings, a butch lesbian personal dog handler to trophy wife Sherry Ann Cabot. From there, she became a staple actress and guest cast, appearing in the director's A Mighty Wind. As porn actress turned folk singer Lori Bonner, and in For Your Consideration. As an entertainment reporter, audiences and critics took notice of Lynch for her turn in Judd Apatow's The 40-Year Virgin. She told Fresh Air's Terry Gross, that the role was originally intended for a man, but also that, at the urging of Steve Carell's wife, Nancy Walls, was offered to Lynch instead. From there, she took supporting roles in a series of films, including Role Models, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Alvin and Chipmunks, Walk Hard, The Dewey Cox Story, Space Chimps, The Rocker, The Hammer, Another Cinderella Story, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Wreck-It Ralph, and Spring Breakdown. In Adventures of Power, a comedy about air drumming released in 2008, Lynch reunited with Michael McKean, her former co-star from For Your Consideration, in the role of Aunt Joni, and starring alongside Ari Gold, Adrian Grenier, Shu Shi-Ling, and Shoshana Stern. And good afternoon over there in the UK, King Kevin Daddy, if you will. There we go. I had to say that correctly, because if I don't, then probably Kevin will be on my case. So, but yeah. Hopefully you're doing well, Kevin, over there in the afternoon in the UK. In a role similar to that of her contributions as Sue Sylvester on the Fox musical comedy drama series Glee, Lynch's role as the encouraging Aunt Joni to Power, a young musician who plays the air drums because he never had access to musical instruments, promotes the initiative to support music education. On your case, I must be detective. I knew you're going to go that route. Okay, there you go. You had to correct yourself. That's better. We'll continue on with Julia. She portrayed Dorothy McWilliams, Julia Child's sister. Entertainment Weekly dedicated an article on its website to the possibility of her performance receiving an Academy Award nomination. However, she was not nominated. Lynch has appeared in many television series, including The X-Files, L.A. Law, Judging Amy, The West Wing, Seventh Heaven, Glee, Desperate Housewives, Friends, News Radio, Married with Children, Third Rock from the Sun, Dawson's Creek, Felicity, Arrested Development, Love Spring International, 2.5 Men, Veronica Mars, Weeds, Boston Legal, L Word, Criminal Minds, Help Me Help You, Gilmore Girls, New Adventures of Old Christine, Psych, Monk, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, The King of Queens, and Frasier. She also starred with John Hannah and William Fichtner in 2002's MDs and has appeared in the crime drama Criminal Minds, as I mentioned. As Spencer Reed's don't know what happened, but continuing on. Had a little issue on my end, but that's all good and dandy. In 2008, she narrated Out and Proud in Chicago, a documentary which tells about LGBT life in Chicago from the Civil War to 2008 through the stories of 20 everyday Chicagoans from age 30 to age 80. Beginning in 2009, Lynch appeared as a regular cast member of the Fox series Glee. The role echoed previous guest appearances in The X-Files and Veronica Mars. Being her third time cast as a harsh high school teacher, she won glowing reviews for her role as the aggressive cheerleading coach, Sue Sylvester. Mary McNamara of the Los Angeles Times wrote, Lynch alone makes Glee worth watching. Before her work with Glee, she was a series regular on the Starz comedy Party Down. Though the series was renewed for a second season, Lynch would not be returning due to her work on Glee. Even in Glee's early days, Lynch continued to pursue other projects. Lynch hosted Saturday Night Live on October 9, 2010. The news of her hosting was accidentally broken to her by her Glee boss, Ryan Murphy, by text message. Lynch had also guest starred on Nickelodeon comedy iCarly as Pam Puckett, Sam Puckett's mother, in the episode I, Sam's Mom. Beginning on July 11, 2013, Lynch hosted the NBC game show Hollywood Game Night. The show had two teams made up of members of the public, civilians, and celebrities, competing in various party games with a chance for the civilians to take home up to $25,000. Lynch was the co-host of the NBC special New Year's Eve with Carson Daly on December 31st, 2013, alongside Carson Daly, the host of The Voice. In 2015, Lynch guest starred in the television series Girl Meets World in an episode Girl Meets Farkle's Choice. On February 21st, 2017, Lynch appeared on The Price is Right as a Celebrity Charity Week contestant. In March 2013, Lynch was announced as executive producer of comedy web series Dropping the Soap. Lynch starred in the series and was nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Actress in a Short-Form Comedy or Drama Series. The series premiered on Deku and was made available on digital platforms including Amazon Video. In 2017, Lynch portrayed Janet Reno for the Discovery Channel television series Manhunt on a Bomber. Also in 2017, Lynch guest starred in episode 7 of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as popular but dislikable comic Sophie Lennon. Lynch returned in the role for 2 episodes at the end of the second season. In 2019, Lynch joined the main cast of Final Space as Avia, the AI of the Crimson Light. In May 2020, it was reported that Lynch will appear in the recurring role of the Netflix comedy series Space Force. On July 8, 2020, it was reported by Vulture that Lynch would host a revival of The Weakest Link on NBC. The show debuted on September 29, 2020. In November 2021, Lynch voiced Ole Golly in the Apple TV Plus anime series Harriet the Spy. Lynch wrote and starred in the award-winning play Oh Sister, My Sister. Originally produced in 1998, the play kicked off the Lesbians in Theater program at the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Center in 2004. She starred in Comcast Xfinity ads, mainly with 2 different laptops and 2 different colored Persian cats. She also stars in LG Corp's Text Ed campaign to educate drivers, about the dangers of texting while driving. Lynch's first experience hosting an award show was in 2010 when she hosted the 2010 VH1 Do Something Awards. It was announced that she will be hosting the 2011 VH1 Do Something Awards, airing on VH1 on August 18th. Lynch hosted the 63rd Primetime Emmy Awards on September 18th, 2011. Only the 3rd woman in Emmy history to host the award show solo. According to the edition of September 19th of the Hollywood Reporter, Emmys, again, I don't know what was going on, but it's a little error, but that's all good. Emmys did not help ratings, as viewing was down 8% year over year of 8 million fewer people watched the Emmys than watched Michael Vick's return to Atlanta on Sunday Night Football on NBC. An autobiography written by Lynch titled Happy Accidents was published in the fall of 2010 by Hyperon Voice. Lynch was inspired to write the book after reflecting upon the successes of her past year and wishing she could have told her more anxious younger self to not worry as much. The memoir also includes detail about her years as an alcoholic and her success in battling this addiction. Lynch is openly lesbian and married Laura Embry in 2010. A self-proclaimed animal lover, Lynch has 4 rescue dogs. She has recorded a PSA for PETA encouraging the adoption of shelter animals. And she sponsors an annual adoption event at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. She was the commencement speaker for Smith College's class of 2012, where she received an honorary doctorate in fine arts. In March 2012, Lynch was featured with Martin Sheen, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Colfer, and Brad Pitt in a performance of Dustin Lance Black's play 8, a stage reenactment of the federal trial that overturned California's Prop 8 ban on same-sex marriage. as Maggie Gallagher. The production was held at the Wilshire Ebell Center and broadcast on YouTube to raise money for the American Foundation for Equal Rights. Lynch made her Broadway debut as Miss Hannigan in Annie for a limited engagement lasting from May 15th to July 14th, 2013. She took the place of Kate Finneran. In 2014, Lynch joined the Ban Bossy campaign as a spokesperson advocating leadership roles for girls. In 2015, Lynch debuted See Jane Sing, a cabaret show in which she sings along with Kate Flannery from The Office and Tim Davis from ABC's boy band, accompanied by the Tony Guerrero Quintet. The show continues to tour around the country. In 2016, Lynch released a swinging little Christmas, a nostalgic Christmas album featuring the See Jane Sing ensemble and released on Lynch's own Kitsch Tone Records label. The album received substantial airplay around the country and landed on the Billboard's AC charts top 10. In 2017, Lynch recorded a Christmas single with actor Dick Van Dyke. The song was composed and produced by Tony Guerrero and was released by Kitsch Tone Records. In 2020, Lynch directed her first 2 commercials for the production company Story and joined its roster of commercial directors. In October 2021, she was cast in the Broadway revival of Funny Girl as Rosie Bryce. Her stint ran from opening on April 24th, 2022 to an expected August 14th, 2022 conclusion. In 2022, Lynch was named honorary mayor of Funnier, the putative location of Harrah's Resort, Southern California. In this role, Lynch promotes the resort, including its additional vegan food options and non-alcoholic beverages, as Lynch does not eat animal products nor drink alcohol. Jane married Laura Embry on May 31st, 2010 in Sunderland, Massachusetts. In June 2013, Lynch announced that they were divorcing. Their divorce was finalized in January 2014. In November 2021, Jane married longtime partner Jennifer Cheyenne in Santa Barbara, California. Lynch is deaf in her right ear. She speculated to Craig Ferguson on the July 19th, 2013 broadcast of The Late Late Show that the deafness was most likely caused by having had a high fever as an infant. Ugh. Yikes. For playing Sue Sylvester in Glee, she won a Primetime Emmy Award, Golden Globe Award, Screen Actors Guild Award, TCA Award, Satellite Award, and People's Choice Award. Lynch have received 5 Primetime Emmy Awards from 12 nominations, 2 Screen Actor Guild Awards from 6 nominations, and a Golden Globe Award from 2 nominations. And like I mentioned, in 2013, she was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Wow, what are accomplishments and awards and nominations for Jane Lynch, and a special happy 63rd birthday to Jane Lynch. Hopefully 63 goes well for you. Hopefully you do well, still being safe out there, even though the pandemic is dwindling down, but still being safe, being really careful of what goes around you and everybody else, your friends and colleagues. And yeah, once again, happy birthday, Jane Lynch. And right now it is 6:10 right now, as we'll go ahead and take one more commercial break. And when we come back, we'll go over the 90th anniversary of Popeye. Loves to spinach. We'll talk more about that right after this.
Rosie, baby, I'm going to prove to you that the hand is quicker than the eye.
Just keep your hands to yourself, Mac.
Oh, come on, Rosie. Watch me make this coin disappear. Ready? Now you see it. Now you don't. Oh.
Terrific, Max. Now watch Bounty make that spill disappear. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Hey, fast hands, Rosie.
Fast towel, Max.
Don't tell me only Bounty works that fast.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you. Follow me. Just watch a top challenger try to beat Bounty.
Look how much quicker Bounty starts working.
I told you. Bounty starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Amazing, Rosie.
Amazing Bounty. And it's strong, too. Crack that sugar on here, Max.
Hey, Bounty sure carries its weight. And it makes spills disappear.
Like magic. Magic, magic. That's Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Starts quicker, so you finish quicker.
Introducing the great new taste of Coca-Cola. The best tasting Coke in the history of ever. It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it. It's Coca-Cola with a new taste, a new sensation, a new explosion of wonderfulness in your mouth. Go ahead, try it. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. We've got the taste. It's a kick. It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it.
What happens when Duncan Hines packs real chocolate chunks in their moist, delicious brownies?
Most kids can't help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines. No way they can help but help themselves to our moist, delicious brownies, Duncan Hines.
Of the leading mixes, Duncan Hines is the smoothest, creamiest batter with real chocolate chunks for a moist, delicious brownie.
It's our moist, delicious way to bake your best. You love that. Duncan Hines.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it. With Son of a Gun Protected from STP. If your dash looks dull, shoot it. Your seats are shot, shoot them. Your tires look flat, heck, shoot them too. Don't leave your roof a wreck. Give it some luster. Give your car high caliber protection. With Son of a Gun from STP. Son of a gun. What a difference.
Where's my NyQuil? This is some cough.
This is real cough.
If I take this, I could still be up tonight calling and I got to rest.
I got to rest.
Hey, you're really sick. You need children's NyQuil as much as I need grown-up NyQuil.
Vicks NyQuil and children's NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, stuffy head so you and your child can rest medicines.
City News, Mr. Keebler. Can you tell us what your new sandwich cookies look like? No comment. Well, we hear they've got creamy fillings. No comment.
Keebler introduces new E.L. Fudge sandwich cookies. Buttery cookies with creamy fudge. Chocolatey cookies with peanut butter middles. And chocolatey cookies with vanilla cream.
We hear they're all delicious.
They are? Oh, were you talking to the cookie?
The cookie? No comment.
New E.L. Fudge sandwich cookies from Keebler.
Didn't wanna feel so gray, needed sunshine in my day. Tried new Citrus Hill Select, what a wonderful effect. Cause my day gets going and my juices get flowing. It's got everything you love in the fruit. You take one look, you see it show. You take one step, you feel that glow. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
What makes new Citrus Hill so select? Because from every orange we select, we take the purest, freshest part, the heart. It's a dose of sunshine that'll get your juices flowing.
Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
Fire!
It's not easy getting so much rich chocolate into a Three Musketeers bar. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to get all that incredible tasting chocolate out of it.
And it is 6:15 right now, and welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. This is episode 23, July 14th, 2023. And once again, I am your host, Brandon Martin. And to wrap up the show, we'll go ahead and go over the 90th anniversary of Popeye. The spinach-eating lover of this man right here. We'll go over everything at what he does. There we go. I'm going to make sure that's out of the way. Okay. Let's do it. Let's read this Popeye, everything else. Popeye the Sailor Man is a fictional cartoon character created by Elzie Chrysler Sager. The character first appeared on January 17, 1929, in the Daily King's Features comic strip Thimble Theater. The strip was in its 10th year when Popeye made his debut. But the One-Eyed Sailor quickly became the lead character, and Thimble Theater became one of the King Features' most popular properties during the 1930s after Sager died in 1938. Thimble Theater was continued by several writers and artists, most notably Sager's assistant Bud Segendorf. It was formerly renamed Popeye. The strip continues to appear its first run installments on Sundays. Written and drawn by R.K. Milholland, the daily strips are reprints of old Segendorf stories. In 1933, Max Fleischer adapted the Thimble Theater characters into a series of Popeye the Sailor theatrical cartoon shorts for Paramount Pictures. These cartoons proved to be among the most popular of the 1930s, and Fleischer Studios, which later became Paramount's own Famous Studios, continued production through 1957. Cartoons produced during World War II include Allied propaganda, as was common among cartoons of the time. These cartoon shorts are now owned by Turner Entertainment and distributed by its sister company, Warner Brothers. Over the years, Popeye has also appeared in comic books, television cartoons, video games, hundreds of advertisements, peripheral products ranging from spinach to candy cigarettes. In the 1980 live-action film directed by Robert Altman and starring Robin Williams as Popeye. Charles M. Schulz said, "I think Popeye was the perfect comic strip, consistent in drawing and humor," in 2002. TV Guide ranked Popeye number 20 on its greatest 50 greatest cartoon characters of all time list. Popeye's story and characterization vary depending on the medium. In his debut storyline, Popeye's superhumanly proportioned strength and endurance stemmed from the luck he acquired by rubbing the feathers of the head of Bernice, a willful hen, thus enabling him to survive 15 gunshot wounds by the end of 1929. However, Popeye's strength had become a regularized fixture of his character, with spinach by 1932 becoming the primary repository of his prowess. Sweet Pea is Popeye's ward in the comic strips, but his custody is inconsistent in cartoons. There is no absolutely sense of continuity in the stories, although certain plot and presentation elements remain mostly constant, including purposeful contradictions in Popeye's capabilities. Popeye seemed bereft of manners and uneducated, yet he often comes up with solutions to problems that seem insurmountable to the police or scientific community. He has displayed Sherlock Holmes-like investigative prowess, scientific ingenuity, and successful diplomatic arguments. In the animated cartoons, his pipe also proves to be highly versatile. Among other things, it has served as a cutting torch, jet engine, propeller, periscope, musical instrument, and a whistle with which he produces his trademark toot. He also spins through his pipe, sometimes sucking in the can along with the contents. Since the 1970s, Popeye is seldom depicted using his pipe to smoke tobacco. Popeye exploits are also enhanced by a few recurring plot elements. One is the love triangle among Popeye, Olive, and Bluto, sometimes called Brutus, and Bluto's endless machinations to claim Olive at Popeye's expense. Another is his near saintly perseverance in overcoming any obstacle to please Olive, who often renounces Popeye for Bluto. The Sager's Thimble Theater debuted in the New York Journal on December 19, 1919. The paper's owner, William Randolph Hearst, also owned King Features Syndicate, which syndicated the strip. Thimble Theater was intended as a replacement for midget movies by Ed Whelan. While initially failing to attract a large audience, the strip nonetheless increasingly accumulated a modest following as the 1920s continued. At the end of its first decade, the strip resultantly appeared in over a dozen newspapers and had acquired a corresponding Sunday strip. Thimble's Theater's first main characters were the lanky, long-nosed slacker Harold Hamgravy and his scrappy, headstrong girlfriend Olive Oyl. In its earliest weeks, the strip featured the duo alongside a rotating cast of primarily one-shot characters, acting out various stories and scenarios in a parodic theatrical style. As its first year progressed, however, numerous elements of this premise would be relinquished, soon rendering the strip a series of episodic comic anecdotes depicting the daily life and dysfunctional romantic exploits of Hamgravy and Olive Oyl. It could be classified as a gag-a-day comic during this period. In mid-1922, Sager began to increasingly engage in lengthier storylines. By the end of the following year, the strip had effectively transitioned fully into a comedy adventure style, focalizing Ham, Olive, and Olive's ambitious but myopic, diminutive brother Castor Oyl. Initially a minor character, yet arguably the protagonist of the strip by 1924, Castor and Olive's parents, Cole and Nana Oyl, also made frequent appearances beginning in the mid-1920s. By the late 1920s, the strip had likewise acquired a number of notable characters beyond the sphere of Hamgravy and the Oyl family, including Castor Oyl's wife, Celinda, her wealthy misanthropic father, Mr. Lotz, and Castor's fighting cockerel, Blizzard, all of whom had exited the strip by the close of 1928. Popeye first appeared in the strip on January 17, 1929, as a minor character. He was initially hired by Castor Oyl and Hamgravy, to crew a ship for a voyage to Dice Island, the location of a casino owned by the corrupt gambler Fadewell. Castor intended to break the bank at the casino using the unbeatable good luck conferred by stroking the head feathers of Bernice the Wiffle Hen. Weeks later, on the trip back, Popeye was shot many times by Jack Snork, an undercover stooge of Fadewell's, but survived the rubbing Bernice's head. After the adventure, Popeye left the strip, but owing to reader reaction, he was brought back after an absence of only 5 weeks. Ultimately, the Popeye character became so popular that he was given a larger role by the following year, and the strip was taken up by more past newspapers as a result. Initial strips presented Olive as being less than impressed with Popeye, but she eventually left Ham to become Popeye's girlfriend in March 1930, precipitating Ham's exit as a regular weeks later. Over the years, however, she has often displayed a fickle attitude towards the sailor. Initially, Castor Oil continued to come up with get-rich-quick schemes and enlisted Popeye in his misadventures. By the end of 1931, however, he settled down as a detective and later on bought a ranch out west. Castor's appearances have resultantly become sparser over time. As Castor faded from the strip, J. Wellington Wimpy, a soft-spoken and eloquent yet cowardly hamburger-loving moocher who would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, was introduced into the Sunday strip, in which he became a fixture by late 1932. After first appearing in the Daily Strip in March 1933, Wimpy became a full-time major character alongside Popeye and Olive. In July 1933, Popeye received a foundling baby in the mail, whom he adopted and named Sweet Pea. Other regular characters introduced into the strip following its retool in 1930 were George W. Giesel, an irascible cobbler who spoke in a heavily affected accent and habitually attempted to murder or wished upon death Wimpy. Roughhouse, the temperamental owner of a budget diner, who served as a long-time suffering foil to Wimpy. Eugene the Jeep, a yellow, vaguely dog-like animal from Africa with magical powers. The Sea Hag, a terrible pirate, and the last witch on Earth. Alice the Goon, a monstrous creature who entered the strip as the Sea Hag's henchwoman and continued as Sweet Pea's babysitter. The hapless, perpetually anxious King Blazo. Blazo's intelligent lackey Oscar, Popeye's lecherous, super actuated father, Poop Deck Pappy, and Tor, and Angel's dim-witted caveman. Sager's strip was quite different from the theatrical cartoons that followed. The stories were more complex, with a heavier emphasis on verbal comedy and many characters that never appeared in the cartoons. Spanish usage, a trait introduced in July 1931, was comparatively infrequent, and Bluto appeared in only one story arc. Sager signed some of his early Popeye comic strips with a cigar, his name being a homophone of cigar. Comics historian Brian Walker stated Sagar offered up a masterful blend of comedy, fantasy, satire, and suspense in thimble theater starring Popeye. Owing to Popeye's increasingly high profile, Thimble Theater became one of King's Features' most popular strips during the 1930s. A poll of adult comic strip readers in the April 1937 issue of Fortune magazine voted Popeye their second favorite comic strip. By 1938, Thimble Theater was running in 500 newspapers, and over 600 licensed Popeye products were on sale. The success of the strip meant Seeger was earning $100,000 a year at the time of his death. The strip continued after Seeger's death in 1938 under a succession of artists and writers. Following an eventual name change to Popeye in the 1970s and the cancellation of the daily strip in 1992, the comic, now solely a Sunday strip, remains one of the longest running strips in syndication today. Thimble Theater had a number of topper strips on the Sundays page during its run. The main topper, Sapo, ran for 21 years, from February 28, 1926 to May 18, 1947. For 7 weeks in 1936, Seeger replaced Sapo with Pete and Pansy for kids only. There were also a series of topper panel strips that ran next to Sapo. Seeger drew one of them. Popeye's Cartoon Club. The rest were produced by Joe Musial and Bud Segendorf. Wiggle Line Movie. Wimpy's Zoo-Hoo. Play Store. Popeye's Army and Navy. Pinup Jeep, and Me Live by Popeye. Following Seeger's illness and eventual death in 1938, numerous people were hired to draw and write the strip. Tom Sims, the son of a Coosa River channel boat captain, acted as the writer for Thimble Theater beginning in August 1938, and established the Popeye Sailormen's spin-off, Doc Winter, who had previously filled in for Seeger between January and May 1938. Initially acted as Sims' artist with Bella Zaboli, succeeding him by December 1939. In 1954, Sims relinquished writing duties on a daily strip to Ralph Stein, who would continue to collaborate with Zaboli until both the daily and Sunday strips were taken over by Bud Segendorf in 1959. Segendorf wrote and drew the daily strip until 1986 and continued to write and draw the Sunday strip until his death in 1994. Segendorf, who has been Seeger's assistant, made a definite effort to retain much of Seeger's classic style. Although his art is instantly discernible, Seeger continued to use many obscure characters from the Seeger years, especially O.G. Wotasnozzle and King Blozo. Segendorf's new characters, such as the Thung, also had a very Seeger-like quality. What set Segendorf apart from Seeger more than anything else was his sense of pacing. Where plotlines moved very quickly with Seeger, it sometimes took an entire week of Segendorf's daily strips for the plot to be advanced even a small amount. From 1986 to 1992, the daily strip was written and drawn by Bobby London, who, after some controversy, was fired from the strip for a story that could be taken to satirize abortion. London's strips put Popeye and his friends in updated situations, but kept the spirit of Seeger's original. One classic storyline, titled The Return of Bluto, showed the sailor battling every version of the bearded bully from the comic strip, comic books, and animated films. The Sunday edition of the comic strip was drawn by Hy Eisman from 1994 to 2022. Following Eisman's retirement, the Sunday strip was taken over by R.K. Milholland, who had previously contributed Popeye's cartoons to the web-only feature Popeye's Cartoon Club in 2019 and 2020. The Daily Strip has featured reruns of Segendorf's strips since London's firing. On July 1st, 2009, 70 years since the death of his creator, Sager's comic strips became public domain in most countries, but remained under copyright in the United States because Sager was an employee of King Features Syndicated, where he Created the Thimble Theater strip. It is treated as a work for hire under U.S. copyright law. Works for hire are protected for 95 years for publication or 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. As of 2023, Thimble Theater comic strips from 1919 through 1927 have entered the public domain, none of which featured Popeye. Even after the strips entered the public domain, trademarks regarding Popeye remain the King Features, as trademarks do not expire unless they cease to be used, and King Features had used the trademark continuously since the character's debut. There's the reprints. Got Popeye the Sailor, 1971. 3 reprints. And there's comic books. My gosh, I mean, that is... You got the theme. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat meat spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Yep, that was the theme song by William Costello, later by Jack Mercer. Released in 1933, recorded in 1933, and composer is Sammy Lerner. Basically, Popeye's theme song, titled I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, of course composed by Sammy Lerner in 1933. For Leitcher's first Popeye the Sailor cartoon has become forever associated with the sailor. Sailor's hornpipe has often been used as an introduction to Popeye's theme song. A cover of the theme song, performed by Face to Face, is included on the 1995 tribute album Saturday Morning Cartoons Greatest Hits, produced by Ralph Saul, for MCA Records. A jazz version performed by Ted Crucian's Standard Orbit Quartet appears on their 2009 Summits record release, Underdog and Other Stories. Playground song parodies of the theme have become part of children's street culture around the world, usually interpolating frying pan or garbage can into the lyrics as Popeye's dwelling place, and ascribing to the character various unsavory actions or habits that transform the character into an anti-Popeye, and changing his exemplary Spanish-based diet into an inedible morass of worms, onions, flies, tortillas, and snot. Like I said, gross and disgusting at the same time. Oh, yeah. Okay. There have been a number of Popeye comic books from Dell, King Comics, Gold Key Comics, Charlton Comics, and others. Originally written and illustrated by Bud Sagendorf. In the Dell Comics, Popeye became something of a crime fighter, thwarting evil organizations and Bluto's criminal activities. In the Dell Comics, Popeye became something of a crime fighter. Yeah, I already read that. tits. The new villains included the numerous Mizraimite doors, who were all identical. Popeye appeared in a British TV comic, becoming the cover story in 1960, with stories written and drawn by Chick Henderson. Bluto was referred to as Brutus and was Popeye's only nemesis throughout the entire run. A variety of artists have created Popeye comic book stories since then. For example, George Wildman drew Popeye stories for Charlton Comics from 1969 until the late 1970s. The Gold Key series was illustrated by Wildman and scripted by Bill Pearson, with some issues written by Nick Cutie. And make sure it's correct. Popeye also had his own manga series published by Shonen Genhosha, written and drawn by Robotan and Marude DeMeo, created Kenji Morita, which ran from 1961 to 1965. In 1988, Ocean Comics released the Popeye special, written by Ron Fortier, with art by Ben Dunn. The story presented Popeye's origin story, including his given name, the Ugly Kid, and attempted to tell more of a lighthearted adventure story as opposed to using typical comic strip style humor. The story also featured a more realistic art style and was edited by Bill Pearson, who also lettered and inked the story as well as the front cover. A second issue by the same creative team followed in 1988. The second issue introduced the idea that Bluto and Brutus were actually twin brothers and not the same person. An idea also used in the comic strip on December 28, 2008 and April 5, 2009. In 1999, to celebrate Popeye's 70th anniversary, Ocean Comics revisited the franchise with a one-shot comic book, The Wedding of Popeye and Olive Oyl, written by Peter David. The comic book brought together a large portion of the cast of both the comic strip and the animated shorts, and Popeye and Olive Oyl were finally wed after decades of courtship. However, this marriage has not been reflected in all media since the comic was published. In 2012, writer Roger Langridge teamed with cartoonist Bruce Ozella, Keith Wheaton, and Tom Neely to revive the spirit of Sager in a 12-issue comic book miniseries published by IDW Publishing. Critic P.S. Hayes, in reviewing the series, stated, Langridge writes a story with a lot of dialogue, and it's all necessary, funny, and entertaining. Bruce Ozella draws the perfect Popeye. Not only Popeye for Popeye's whole world, everything looks like it should, cartoony and goofy. Plus, he brings an unusual amount of detail to something that doesn't really need it. You'll swear that you're looking at an old Whitman Comics issue of Popeye, only it's better. Ozella is a great storyteller, and even though the issue is jam-packed with dialogue, the panels never look cramped at all. In late 2012, IDW began reprinting the original 1940s, 1950s Sagendorf Popeye comic books under the title of Classic Popeye. In January 2019, the celebration of its 90 years of character, King featured syndicate launch of the webcomic Popeye's Cartoon Club. In a series of Sunday format comics, a wide assortment of artists depicted the characters in their own styles in one comic each, including Alex Hallott, Eric Henderson, Tom Neely, Roger Langridge, Larry DeSouza, Robert Skiorak, Jeffrey Brown, Jim Angle, Liners, Jay Foskin, Carol Lay, and Randy Milholland. At the end of the year, Milholland's Cartoon Club comic was declared the #1 comic of the year on King Features website, Comics Kingdom, from February through April 2020. Cartoon Club ran an additional 5 comics by Milholland from May 28th through July 6, 2020. Popeye's Cartoon Club ran daily comics from Randy Milholland, making Milholland the first person to write a daily update Popeye comic and King Features since 1994. There's the theatrical animated cartoons. There's the original television cartoons, web series, and like radio, feature films, canceled animated film, video and pinball games, parodies, market tie-ins, endorsements, restaurants, retail, foods and beverages, sports, and other things. Yeah. And that'll be basically it for the 90th anniversary of Popeye. And speaking of that, they'll have that episode of Tune In With Me in about another 14 more minutes. Actually, 13 right now, over 13 minutes. But with that, that's going to do it for DMS 3000 News Live for July the 14th, 2023, episode number 23. And coming up in about 13 minutes, we will be having Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. And along with Snowman, we'll be taking the reins from them. Then after that, we'll have the Brian Snow Show. And we'll have another episode of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. And now basically what covers the program from the David 3000 Network on here for tonight's for this programming. And if you want to give us the news that you want us to talk about on the DMS 3000 News Live, feel free to DM us like myself, Brandon Martin, or Jason DeCanio for the DMS 3000 News Live. And we'll go over the news that you gave us. And we'll talk about it on here. But for right now, I'm Brandon Martin saying thank you very much for watching. And if you like this, please go give it a thumbs up. And please like the video, leave a comment. And if you're brand new to the David 3000 Network, make sure to subscribe. And also hit that notification bell under the name David 3000 Network on your YouTube app so you'll never miss an upload or live stream. And even though you'll get to see me again on Wednesday, however, you'll get to see Jason DeCanio this coming Monday and Tuesday on DMS 3000 News Live. For right now, have a great weekend, everybody, and you'll see Jason DeCanio this coming Monday and Tuesday, and you'll get to see me this coming Wednesday. Right now, have a great morning, everybody.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Democracy Network for great more content like this one.